Are you ready to talk about the future of grading card companies? Yeah, me neither. Let's look at some cards.
I don't know about you, but that looked like money.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. Recently I've talked about shifting my focus into older cards, rarer cards, scarcer cards, more unique cards. But that doesn't mean I'm not buying regular issue cards. And in the thumbnail, there's kind of a card that I wouldn't say is rare or scarce, but it's kind of neat to me anyway. And we're going to get to that as we go through some of my pickups. But yeah, for some reason, I've just, by happenstance, have picked up a couple of non-player cards over the last few weeks. And they're Hall of Famers, and they're important cards in the hobby, and in my opinion, shouldn't be neglected. And they can also be a cool place to start if you're looking to start a vintage football Hall of Fame collection. Of course, I'm talking about coaches, some of the biggest figures in the history of the game. And we're going to get to those in a couple minutes. But first off, I'm going to show off some of my pickups over the last few weeks. Again, I've scaled it down, so the Monday mail day thing's going to be gone just because I'm focusing on different things and I won't have enough pickups to make a worthwhile video for everybody. So anyway, let's dive into it and look at some cards. First off is a not a very big name, at least in most of the hobby. Viking fans probably know this guy, but this is Mick Tingelhoff. He's a Hall of Famer. This is his rookie card, and it is a recent pickup of mine that I needed for the Hall of Fame rookie card set. This one is graded a BVG 5.5. I don't mind having Beckett slabs. Contrary to what other channels say about slabs, I'm pretty much, doesn't really matter. Beckett at one time was a highly reputable grader. I don't see people forgetting that in the future. And you can get these at a pretty good discount. Card looks good. It's centered really well. It does not have subgrades on it, unfortunately, but that's okay. Great looking card. Next up, I'm almost done with this guy's player run. This is 67 Topps Lance Allworth. I just love this card. The colors on this are just so vibrant. Red, yellow, blue, white. I don't know, it just needs a team logo on it. That's all it's really missing for it to be almost perfect. Great looking set. This is a great looking card of Allworth. This would be his, I believe, his 5th card. Yes. His rookie being 1963 Fleer. Next up, you guys are probably sick of me talking about Bobby Lane, but I don't understand how Bobby Lane cards are so inexpensive. Even his rookie cards are not that expensive compared to some. And I think people forget that, at the time he played, he had all the passing records. I believe when he retired, he was the all-time leading passer in terms of yards, at least. And you can pick up his stuff really cheap. This is not the best looking SGC6, but outside of the centering, this is a pretty clean looking card. Great pose. And for what you can pick these up for, it's crazy. I probably talk too much about it, but I think Bobby Lane is vastly underrated or overlooked in the hobby. And if I didn't talk about him enough, here's another one I picked up. I mean, you can pick up a PSA 8 of a 59 Topps Bobby Lane for, peanuts. It's a PSA 8. I know we don't focus on grades, but This is a near mint, which to me is what you would expect out of a pack. And it's perfectly centered, gorgeous card. So, in my thumbnail, I have this. Now this is a 56 Topps checklist. It's the first checklist card ever made for football. And it's not numbered, and it was randomly inserted into packs from what I can tell. But there is no number on it. But if you want a master set of 56 Topps, you do have to add this card. What I love about checklists, I love finding them when they're not marked, which this one is not marked. And I don't know, to me, how many of these out there are unmarked? Maybe it's a lot, I don't know. I wouldn't think it is. But some of these checklist cards are pretty valuable. This one is not very valuable, even though it's the first one ever made for football. However, the 57 Topps checklists are extremely valuable, and there are two different versions of that checklist. There's a Bologna gum and a Bazooka gum. And then 65 Topps has one that's pretty valuable. It's in their high numbers, and it's got Namath on it, the name Namath on it. And then 64 Topps high number checklist is, I wouldn't say it's valuable, it's just hard to find. But anyway, I don't know, I think unmarked checklists from the 50s and 60s are pretty cool. Again, I can't imagine there's a whole ton of them out there, but I could be wrong. I don't know, maybe people didn't mark up their checklists. I know I did in the early 80s. I marked checklists up with a pen. So yeah, probably not the most thrilling card for everybody out there, but I thought it was kind of neat. And let's get to some non-player cards. This is the 52 Bowman Large George Halas Papa Bear. I picked this up about a week before the National, a week and a half, and I know based on last year was a great time to be buying. A couple weeks before the National, even a week before the National, I got some tremendous deals. This year, the deals did not seem as plentiful, but there were some. And this was one of them. I think, for a 5, I think I paid $100 ish for this. It was only 2 weeks ago, and I already can't remember. It's pretty bad on my part. But I thought this was a really clean George Halas. It's a gorgeous card. Coaches cards I think are a bit overlooked. The 51 Bowman Tom Landry is another one that I don't have, but that one gets a lot of love. That's an expensive card, one I'm still on the hunt for. But the Halas and the Paul Brown that I recently picked up, they aren't too bad. This one was pretty inexpensive too, probably because of the centering, but 52 Bowman Larges are notoriously centered like crap. I can overlook it if I get the card cheap enough and the corners are sharp, and this one was both. But Paul Brown and George Halas, if you don't know where to start with vintage football, especially in the 50s, coaches aren't a bad idea. Halas and Brown are two of the most important, not only coaches, but people in the history of football. You can't go wrong with adding one or both of these to your collection. And it's 52 Bowman. 52 Bowman is a gorgeous set. Lastly, this is a big one. It's It's not a player, but it is a Hall of Famer. And that is the 35 Schickel Knute Rockne. This is considered by some to be the second most important card in the set, behind the Bronco Nagurski. It's not priced quite like a Bronco Nagurski. The Nagurski is a high number. It is he was the most iconic player of his time, and that card goes for 5 figures at minimum. This one, not quite that. I got this again a couple weeks before the National. It wasn't cheap, but I feel like I got a good price on it. I hate the upper right corner, and I know I'm nitpicking, but the upper right corner could be better. But at the end of the day, this is a 90-year-old card, and I own it. So I did a video on Schickel, and I referenced another video in that video, but there are actually 2 series of 35 Schickels. Series 1 is 24 cards, and then Series 2 was 12 cards. However, they did fill the sheet, and a lot of these, I think all the Series 1s were quote-unquote double printed. The way you can tell a Series 1 versus a Series 2 for the first 24 cards is by this text here. This is a Series 1 because the signature is smaller and this text is offset to the lower right. Series 2, this text would be centered in the middle and the signature would be larger. The Rockne, I believe, is the most graded card of all the Schickels between PSA, SGC, and Beckett. That being said, by my math, there's roughly about 600 of these graded between the 3 companies. That's not a whole lot. So yeah, I complain about the upper right corner, but this card does not have any creases in it, and the color is outstanding, so I can live with that corner being the way it is. The fact that there's no wrinkles, creases, or paper loss on this card really makes up for this corner up here, for me anyway. My eyes are drawn to the image and the color. So yeah, I went years without having a Schickel, and over the past month I've picked up 2. So very thrilled about that. Schickel is becoming a borderline obsession with me in terms of picking up cards. The problem is they're very expensive. So me picking these up on the regular it's not going to happen. I've got a limited budget, but I pick them up as I can. This one, you know, I was all in, I think just under $800. Again, not a cheap card, but Knute Rockne is a legend. No way around that. He's a legend, and again, arguably the second most important card in the whole set. So thrilled to have it. It's going to go right in the safe after this video, and yeah. So with Monday Mail Days going the way of the dodo bird, I'm going to think of something else to do a weekly episode on. I don't know what that's going to be yet. I have an idea. I have a couple ideas. But I'm not going to have enough coming in purchase-wise to do a Monday Mail Day every week. I'll go broke and probably end up divorced. But what would be cool is if you could drop some ideas in the comments as to what you'd like to see more of. I'm really reluctant to do any bitching and complaining about grading companies because that's just not me. That's not my thing. I'm quite frankly tired of hearing about it. You know, I let other people do that. I kind of want to stick with cards and educating people and showing off cards and that kind of thing. The grading crap, I just don't want to do. So I can tell you for certain that that won't be a weekly episode on my channel. But I would love to hear some other ideas that you might have. I'd love to provide you something that you enjoy and that's beneficial to everybody. So yeah, feel free to comment below, hit me up on Instagram or both. Until then, take care, have a great week, and we'll talk soon. See ya.